organizations that adopted this technology were more likely to have farmers want to work with them. Again, because farmers, like human beings, like transparency. So even farmers want to know the amount of produce that they're selling. They want to have it in granular detail.
Hello and welcome to the Experience Pod. My name is Chiwueze Ihebuzor. The Experience Pod is a one-on-one interviewer-led podcast that discusses the adoption and utilization of relevant emerging technologies and trends for impact-oriented professionals, researchers, developers, and students who demand realistic and thought-provoking perspectives on the opportunities and challenges presented by these phenomena in our unique environment. There are 33 million smallholder farms across Africa, contributing up to 70% of the continent's food supply, according to the International Fund for Agricultural Development. This only considers the value that smallholder farmers bring to the table on food alone, and it's quite remarkable. Millions of these farmers are in remote areas, often isolated from market opportunities, and thus vulnerable to exploitations and unfair dealings. Innovations are looking to right some of these wrongs by delivering increased traceability, verifiability, and improving seed-to-shelf transparency along supply chains to the benefit of not just the farmers, but also corporations. With movement like the African Continental Free Trade Agreement forging ahead, the significance of sustainability in the agricultural supply chain is on the rise. To add insights to this conversation, we're joined by Mr. Victor Boyle Komolafe, co-founder and executive director of Capture Solutions, an innovative digital verification and traceability solution provider based in Nigeria, Kenya, and Tanzania. Welcome, Victor. We're happy to have you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Great. Okay, so let's jump right into it. For those who might not be familiar with your work, Victor, could you explain what Capture Solution does and expand on a bit on, what led to you founding this company?
Okay, thanks for that. So Capture Solutions was actually founded by my partner, Lorenzo Bocompani, a few years ago, about 10 years ago. And yes, it was started up in Kenya. I joined the company halfway through that. And right now, I lead the West African operations of the company. So yes, based in Nigeria, but I'm focused on English-speaking West Africa. And really what Capture Solutions is about, like the name states, is literally about capturing data. But for us, our USP is really the use of advanced technologies. So in this case, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, or computer vision to digitize operations across different industries. So yes, we work across different industries. We work in different countries, and the main denominator is really the use of technology to digitize information in businesses, because that's the only way you can really keep accurate and, again, verifiable records.
Fantastic. Adding that digital element to the way businesses regard their information and treat their data. Very interesting. So Capture Solution provides a few digital products, from agri capture to weight capture. So just to let the audience know, who are the actual users or the customers of these products? Would you say they are large corporations, or are they like middlemen?
Yeah, thanks for that. So let me frame it this way. So there's users and there's beneficiaries, right? Or there's clients and there's beneficiaries. So yes, the beneficiaries are the smallholder farmers. So we have over 1 million smallholder farmers on our database from different organizations. But yes, our major clients are large organizations. So you're talking about the Unilevers of this world, the CBN, the commodities exchanges. So yes, typically our clients are large organizations that need a way to manage, again, the movements of goods across the value chain. And so yes, for all these organizations, it's very critical to have that data. And of course, the farmers are the beneficiaries, right? Also the services that these organizations are paying for, because of course that data can also be used to improve the lives of the farmers.
Absolutely. And I guess it just brings that connection between those small farmers and the large corporations. So in essence, you are a bit of the middleman.
Okay, yes. So to be fair, let me say a bit of the middleman. Yes, we're the ones that provide, again, the data to drive insights, right? And that's very key. And so again, all of our products, from the agri capture, because again, that's our agri product, or, we have things for verification or traceability. But yes, all the products have that same thing in common where, yes, the clients are large organizations, but beneficiaries are typically farmers.
Okay, interesting. So what would you say has been the major driver or the major lever for growth of, say, a solution like agri capture?
Well, the major driver that we have seen has really been transparency, right? Again, everybody likes transparency, right? the large multinational like transparent. Everybody wants to talk about their impact, right? Everybody wants to talk about, this person has earned X. So yeah, the transparency in the system just makes it very attractive. And so the other thing that we noticed, especially when we started this in East Africa, was that organizations that adopted this technology were more likely to have farmers want to work with them. Again, because farmers, like human beings, like transparency. So even farmers want to know the amount of produce that they're selling. They want to have it in granular detail. So, let me bring that home. In the, again, Nigerian context especially, we don't really use metrics, right? We use a bag, right? A bag of cocoa, right? A trailer of cassava. Those don't encourage transparency. Those are very vague numbers. So again, just on a basic level, transparency is really what drives adoption. And of course, transparency also has to do with traceability, right? It has to do with verifiability of data. So I would say transparency is the major thing that has helped with the growth of our solutions across Africa.
That's interesting. I think what you said around the lack of that standard of metric for measurement in Nigeria. So we say a bag. What does a bag mean? A bag in Abuja might be a different size of a bag in Lagos. And I think trying to bring that transparency into that sort of transaction would help a great deal. So when we heard about your solutions like AgriCapture at the Experience Center, we were like, this is something that would definitely contribute and play a huge part, not just to the agricultural sector, but also to the Nigerian economy in general. Yeah. But another thing is, one question that we had really was, how's the quality of the supply verified? So how does the corporation know that what he's getting is up to standard to solve that problem?
Oh, yes, 100%. So like I did mention, our core thing is using advanced technology. And so in this case, again, especially with IoT, Internet of Things, and computer vision, you can really collect data in real time on things. So right now, again, in a typical scenario, we collect data on, again, leveraging on technology, not having individual space information. So we collect data on location using GPS, or we can collect data on individual using biometrics. Of course, we also do a KYC on the individual, so we can tie that to a BVN or to an NIN. And of course, when you're talking about the quality of material, so for example, we're doing a cotton project somewhere, and so the quality metrics can be measured using a moisture meter, again, that is Internet of Things enabled. So the moisture meter is giving you the exact data in real time and not relying on an individual. And so again, as part of the AgriCapture family, we have another product called LactoCapture. So again, that is about milk. And so again, in that kind of scenario, the hardware or the IoT is a lactometer, right? Again, so which is a hardware that has been tweaked a little bit to make it IoT enabled. So yes, basically how we do all these things is really relying on the IoT and relying on the hardware to provide the data. So that makes the data more verifiable than relying on any individual.
Wow, it's fascinating to hear that, emerging technologies like IoT is being used in the agri space in Nigeria. Well done.
Oh, yeah. So let me even just add on that. Yeah, to date, AgriCapture, or, part of the AgriCapture family, we have processed maybe about 20 million transactions. We've made 300 million kilograms of produce. And again, we've paid over $50 million, right, through our system, right? Because again, there's also a payment part of our system. So just to say that, it's quite robust, and these are some of the things that we have had to add at different points.
Wow, that's very interesting. Okay, so in sub-Saharan Africa, economic growth from agriculture is repeatedly 11 times more effective at reducing, poverty levels than in any sector, really. In Nigeria, for instance, where 70% of the households estimated to take part in crop farming, things like fairer wages could mean an increase in the size of the addressable portion of a huge market that is Nigeria, that 200 million population. How has fair price been determined across markets, and what has been the implementation of capture solution products and verification solutions in general? What has it done for farmers' earnings? Would you say that has had an impact?
Oh, I think that's a very good question, and I can answer this from different perspectives, but I think I would prefer to kind of contrast and compare different countries, right? So, first of all, capture solutions do not set the price, right? We're not price setters, right? So we work with clients and organizations that tend to set the price, which of course is influenced by global prices. For example, we are working in Cote d'Ivoire, where we collect cocoa and cashews on behalf of the cashew or cocoa board. Again, the prices are set internationally, right? And so again, we have little say on that. However, the data that we collect from these processes is able to help the farmers, again, eventually de-risk their processes. But more importantly, the traceability element enables the farmers have a higher value for the produce that they bring to the farm, if that makes any sense, right? So let me phrase that in a different way, right? Through our product, we're able to provide the farmer a fairer price, especially because of that traceability element, which automatically enables that product command a higher price in the market.
Okay, that's interesting. So let's go to emerging trends now and just talk about a few things there. So the main objective of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement includes creating a single market for goods and services to promote industrial development and achieve sustainable socio-economic growth. What, in your opinion, will be the impact of this agreement on demand for smallholder farmer produce, and by extension, the solutions are around verifiability and traceability?
Yeah. Thanks for that. So, like I just intimated that when I was speaking about the Cote example, I think, first of all, it's going to bring a lot of competition to the market. So, again, there are countries like Africa, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana to an extent, that have a bit of a better culture regarding traceability and understanding the importance of that, right? Compared to the Nigerian market where, again, these things don't matter, right? Even the farmers don't have the right information, right? Our farming and agriculture sector is not where it should be. And so I think that the free trade agreement would impact Nigerian farmers negatively as it is, because we don't have the right infrastructure to maximize the value of the produce that we have, right? And the companies, might as well just go buy from Ghana, where, again, the farmers have the exact detail of inputs they put in there, right? All the way from the land preparation to the point of harvest. So, on the other hand, the demand, even before the Africa Free Trade Agreement came up, the demand for verifiability and traceability solutions has been increasing yearly. And of course, that is because, again, people outside Africa that buy these products want to know where the products are coming from. So, for example, sorry that I keep using the case of, but of course, cocoa, right? The cocoa producers in Belgium need to be sure that whatever cocoa is coming to them doesn't have things around child labor, for example, right? Or it wasn't grown in a protected forest, for example. These are things that are priorities to them even before the Africa Free Trade Agreement, and will continue to be priorities to them going forward.
Right. So I think you've touched on two very interesting things here. So all this while, there's a tendency to think of traceability and verifiability with regards to the product itself. But even when you think around things like labor and just making sure, like you mentioned, around the chocolate factories in Belgium wanting to make sure that the cocoa is child labor free, you know what I mean? That's an angle I had never really sort of considered before. But you mentioned something around competition. Do you guys have any competition in this market with regards to capture? Anybody doing something similar?
Yeah, so it would be silly to say we don't have competition. Of course, that would be a lie. But what I can say is two things. First of all, there are not a lot of African companies that we're competing against. A lot of our competitors are typically Indian companies. But yes, the other thing is, even the African companies that have some of these things and do this, their use of advanced technologies is very little, it's very minimal, right? So again, and I keep talking about the use of IoT computer vision. This is standard within our processes. It's not a gimmick, it's not something we're developing, it's something we already do. And so yes, in terms of the question, do we have competition? Yes. What is the USP for us is really the use of advanced tech. There's not a lot of African companies. Again, I'm not just saying Nigerian, I'm saying African companies that do the work we do. And that reflects on the kind of clients that we have, because many times we literally have to make solutions from scratch for clients. And so a lot of our solutions that we have in the market, including the agri capture and the wheat capture and the lacto capture, were actually projects that were started for, again, large multinationals, and we eventually rolled it out as individual products for other businesses in that industry.
Okay, that's interesting. Thank you, Victor. So from your knowledge of the space with regards to smallholder farmers, we typically refer to smallholder farmers, which is supposed to be a large group, but it's interesting that we have that word smallholder farmers. Within that group, are there any categories? How would you sort of segment the different farmers or the different types of farmers in that smallholder farmer group, which is obviously of a large group of farmers?
So yeah, I guess if I was going to segment this group, I mean, let me just go back a bit. My primary, what's what I'm looking for, not hobby. I have a very keen interest in agriculture, even before I moved to tech. In fact, my relationship with capital solutions actually started because of a problem I had in my agriculture business. But again, this idea of smallholder farmer in Nigeria, I think I could move them into two categories. But the first thing I would say as a follow-on from my experience is that, again, I can't remember the exact numbers, but I think over 70-80% of the smallholder farmers in Nigeria are above the age of 65 years old. Right? Okay. So that is a shocking statistic. That is a damning statistic, right? Which means that, again, our next generation of growers, like there is no next generation of growers, right? So there is a problem that's going to happen very soon. But regarding the smallholder farmers, if I was going to categorize them, I would say yes, there are the urban dwellers and the rural dwellers, right? The urban dwellers are, again, maybe a bit more educated, probably already had a job and are doing this because they see the opportunity. While the rural dwellers are, again, I mean, it's culture, it's habit, it's tradition. There's lack of information, there's lack of market access. They don't necessarily have the right tools to plan and carry things out effectively. Of course, also the urban smallholder farmers have their own challenges and peculiarities, but of course they have more access to information, maybe not the same access to market also, because that's a challenge everywhere. But yes, I think those are the two categories.
Okay, great. So now let's talk about access to things like capital for these sort of farmers. Does your solution, or is that part of the things that, I guess, the data that you capture from your products, are those some of the things that data can be used to do in terms of maybe helping farmers, give them access to financial products or investment opportunities, such like loans, insurance? Is that something that happens amongst your farmers, or is that something you're maybe having to educate them on the potential of, or do they already know about it?
Yeah, so it's something that already actively happens. We actually have a full financial arm called Category that handles this transaction. So right now we give over $200,000 every month in advances to farmers, right? We have over 1 million farmers in our database. And basically the reason we're able to provide these advances to these farmers, again, like you hinted, is because of the data that we have. So for example, if we have farmer A that is providing us 100 kilograms of granules valued at 100,000 naira every month. If in month 6, farmer A wants a 50,000 naira advance or loan, again, why can't I give him that loan based on his deliverables that I've seen over the last 6 months? He's brought goods worth 500,000. 50,000 naira is small. So again, it's really the data, and again, that is the key thing. And we sincerely believe that the data that we collect through our operations is what is needed to fully de-risk agriculture. Agriculture is expensive in Africa because that data is lacking. The farmers don't keep the data, right? The organizations that are supposed to keep the data are non-existent. The government does not keep the data. The data is needed for bankers and for economics and for accountants to, again, de-risk the investment. And until that happens, agriculture is going to continue to be expensive. So again, I guess the summary is yes, the data that we collect provides financial inclusion, provides access to capital, and most importantly, de-risk agriculture.
Very, very, very interesting. Thank you for that, Victor. So, you've talked a bit about, emerging technologies when you talked around computer vision in IoT. But aside from that, which one would you say has the most impact, or has had the most impact in your, well, first of all, in that space, in the agri-business space, and also for you as an organization, because I know you have a lot of solutions, not just, strictly speaking on the agriculture side.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thanks for that. So I think right now, the IoT, the Internet of Things, that has been one of our big focuses, and that is, that still excites me because there's a lot of things we still do with that literally is mind-blowing. But yes, in the last 2 years, we've started working a lot more with blockchain technology and artificial intelligence, especially the use of artificial intelligence in agriculture and in recycling, which we're also doing. So we do some stuff with recycling. That is something I'm excited about because I think that is the next frontier in terms of data collection, right? So you can be very specific with AI, you can be very deliberate, and I think there's so many use cases to computer vision AI in the economy that we haven't even scratched the surface of. So yes, AI, blockchain, but especially AI, there is a big future there.
Okay, that's interesting. Sorry to take you back. Going back to what you spoke about around the loan and granting access to capital to some of these farmers. I think you said it was $200,000.
We do every month.
Wow, that's huge. What has been the sort of performance of those loans? Has it been going on for a while, or is this something you guys just started?
No, it's actually been going on for a while. So Capagri has been going on for, again, at least 3 years. We started in East Africa, also in West Africa, maybe since last year. But yes, in terms of the loans, and that's the brilliant thing, right? Again, I'm trying to look for a percentage, but less than 1% default rate, right? And it's actually a science because, again, you're providing access to finance based on an asset, right? So again, what the data was collected is basically an asset, right? So again, you're saying that this person has been providing this asset, so therefore he is able to pay back these loans that you're going to provide him, right? That is the way credit works in the developed world. It's not necessarily you going to do a collateral or looking for paperwork. It's literally showing your credit history. And that is kind of what this is about, right? So showing your credit history to provide access to finance for farmers.
Yes, and enabling the farmers to be able to do this effectively using your solutions.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So
question.
Okay, go on.
So you had mentioned that the future of a generation of farmers, is almost looking like a space that not a lot of youths are going into. So that means a lot of the people you probably interact with, of an older generation, 65 and above. How would you say the reception with regards to technology has been for them? Is it something that they are willing to, or are they still skeptical? Or do you still have those old school farmers that want to, no, I'll use my traditional hoe, and things like that? What has been the reception?
So it's been a brilliant mix. So again, luckily for us, right? Again, our clients are, large FMCGs or B2B organizations, right? The farmers are the beneficiaries, right? So therefore, the farmers don't pay us. And so at the end of the day, it's really what the clients want, right? And so the farmers have to comply. But the other thing that we notice is, again, little things like, for example, having a receipt, those are things that, again, these older farmers appreciate a lot, because all their life, they have been used to seeing things in metrics, right? So in bags, in random numbers, trailer loads, and you actually give them, numbers, right? So 60 kilograms is worth 200,000 naira. Again, something that's small, right? Listen, that is basic, but again, the transparency, it helps them, right? Again, it's almost like you're not cheating. Nobody wants to be cheated. So that is a lot of the vibe that we get from them. That thank you guys, though. You guys are bringing transparency to this system. At least we're not being cheated. And that is a start. So, but in terms of the younger people, right? So yes, we see that the younger people are more inclined to technology, right? They're more receptive to, again, especially the urban dwellers, or so those categories are more inclined to adopting technology and understanding the use of it. But yes, the older ones, they just appreciate the simplicity and the transparency of the system.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so what about mobile technology? That's advancing, very quickly. Mobile phones are everywhere. Very soon, we're going to have wearables everywhere. I don't know if there are potential solution leveraging maybe mobile technology in the agri space. What do you think?
Yeah, so first of all, right, even though I'm talking about IoT and all those things, we're a mobile technology company, right? So again, most of our solutions are Android-based, right? And so, again, they also work asynchronously. So even when there's internet and when there's no internet, right? Again, most of Africa, most of Nigeria does not have internet access, right? There's a perception that we do, but we don't in reality, right? So I think we're still a few years away from, again, the full mobile network spectrum all over the country. But for right now, what we try to do is to, again, like I mentioned, our products work when there's no internet. When there's internet, they are very easy to use. We have things like USSD code for people that have feature phones. So it's just really about ensuring that our products can be accessible by all the users,
Got you. So, but how does, in all of this, something that we haven't even touched on, how does Capture Solutions make money? Or are you guys, are you an NGO, or what's the, are you a charity? How do you guys make money? Because you sound like you're doing a lot of good stuff for the people. Just want to see if it's, what sort of model that you run?
So we are very for profit. They're very for profit. But yes, again, some of our activities that we do at Capture Solutions, are social enterprises. So again, we have something in recycling, that's more social enterprise. But for us, a lot of the data that we're collecting through our processes, we're not necessarily monetizing them, or we're not necessarily commercializing them right now. Again, apart from using it for loans, for example, and access to finance. But the point is that right now, I think one of the biggest things we're trying to solve is the de-risking of agriculture, right? And so that has kind of, again, been the focus for us because, money comes when value is provided. Right. And so, we're providing value right now. Yes, a lot of the value that we're providing is really regarding the traceability and the IoT and the verifiability of data. But we also know that the data that we collect can also have greater impact on the lives of the people that we're working with. Again, the beneficiaries, the farmers. And that's why we go out of our way to provide things like Capagri, which is a program or, again, a financial arm that is dedicated towards providing advances to those bottom of pyramid farmers.
Again, just to be clear, because I'm not sure I quite got that.
So how do we earn money? We earn money from the clients that engage us. Okay. Right. So we have different ways of getting that money. It might be a percentage of the value of the goods, right? Or it might be a one-off flat fee, or it might be a recurrent fee, or it might be a hardware as a service. Right, so we also do that. So yes, there's different models. And again, like you said, we're in different countries and we're in different industries, right? So it's not a one-size-fits-all.
Okay. Thanks for that. We'll get into the interesting questions very soon. We're almost done. But just to round up on sort of maybe the more serious stuff. So we've been talking around data, and capture solutions by nature of your solutions. Capture a lot of data, which is obviously very, very valuable. What sort of, let's say, strategy do you have around privacy and protecting that data? I know you said you haven't started monetizing it yet, but surely that has to be something that maybe you're considering, if not now, possibly in the future. But with regards to things like privacy, how does Capture Solution handle privacy matters?
All right, thanks a lot, Bev. That's a brilliant question, right? And so we get this all the time. And so the first thing I usually say is that the cloud we work with are very big on this. So, from inception, we have been very careful with the regulations. So again, right now, we're signed up to the GDPR, to the Data Protection Regulation. And we're up to date across all the countries. Also with the legal requirements for each individual country. That is also up to date. But just to reemphasize that, again, as a technology business, dealing with the multinationals that we work with, this data protection is the utmost importance to them, right? And so, for example, I did mention that our solution works, asynchronously. So when there's internet and when there's no internet, but there's also a lot of encryption that goes on in every part of it. So again, within the IoT applications, within the cloud, so there are encryptions at different stages and at different levels. And I'm proud to say that we have never had a data breach, and I'm sure we will never have one.
Fantastic. I pray so too. All right, so let's get into the more sort of personal, interesting questions. All right, so talk to us about predictions. What was the last prediction you got wrong? Doesn't have to be capture solution, any prediction.
Yeah. So again, this one, I'm not sure if I still got it wrong, but time will tell. Bitcoin. Again, so first of all, I'm a chartered accountant by training, right? It goes against everything in my body. By the way, I have now invested in some cryptocurrency because I'm not leveraging my hedging my bets. But I've been following it for a long time. I'm in the tech space. I've known about it for ages, but I'm not fully convinced. I'm convinced in the blockchain technology. I understand that part. I'm convinced in some cryptocurrencies now. I don't want to mention the name, but Bitcoin. Maybe it's now FOMO that is doing me, but I think maybe that was something that I got wrong because it's 60K right now. It keeps on increasing, and I wish I went in early.
Fair enough. Okay, so what's one view you seem to find that very few people agree with?
One view.
Are there a lot? Okay, if there are a lot, you can tell us the most.
No. There are not a lot. I just think, so again, I tend to be a very straightforward person. Some people say blunt, but again, a lot of people don't agree people should be like that, right? People say, if everybody was blunt, how would you feel? But yeah, this is just, I don't know if it's as relevant, but I think it's very important to tell the truth. To to be honest, I'm to be as open as possible, because I feel that the more you try to hide your emotions, the more you pretend to be somebody you're not. But when you're straight, people already know what you stand for before you even say anything, right? And so for me, in my life, I find that sort of the things that makes my life a lot easier. Like, I mean, I'm always black or white. People already know where I stand. There is no two ways about it. For me, it makes my life easier, but some people don't agree with the way I work.
Fair enough. Understood. So I guess it's nothing of whether to be political or to be real. Politically correct.
Yes, exactly. Politically correct. Yeah, politically correct. Yeah.
I think there's a time for everything. There's a place for everything. But fair enough.
Yeah,
okay, so
I was just agreeing with you, right? But I was just saying, I mean, I don't want to sound somehow because, I mean, by the way, my staff love me. I'm a very good guy. Everybody loves me. I'm sure you can say that. But yes, I just feel that people need to be more open and straightforward with their feelings. Everybody is trying to please everybody. Like, that is not sustainable, right?
Understood. Okay, so we have a question from our previous guest, Mr. Elo Ume, who is the CEO of Terragon, one of Nigeria's earliest digital marketing companies. So his question is, beyond distributed fiber to enable last mile in Nigeria and the rest of Africa, what other ideas or what other potential solutions are there to strengthen last mile connectivity in Africa?
Oh, yeah. I think there's a lot of work that's being done on this in different parts of the world. For example, there was the thing that I think Google or Facebook were doing regarding using balloons for internet connectivity, right? There is something I know that they're doing regarding the use of IoT to, again, improve connectivity in local areas. So I think, I mean, just off the top of my head, I would say, I mean, if Google is doing it, there's something they have there. But yes, really the use of I guess, the hot air balloons doing things on land would be more expensive, would cost a lot of time. There's a lot more regulations to deal with. I think looking for solutions that, again, above the land, so like the balloons, those might be more, I don't know if cost effective is the word, but might be easier to roll out. So yes, that is something that I would explore if I was in that position, to roll out broadband to more people in Africa, in Nigeria.
All right. So at the Experience Center, we typically say disruption is interrelated. So in that respect, what's one perspective you'd like to get from our next interview? So what question do you want to ask the next person? We don't know who that person is. But any question you want to ask.
Yeah, so for me, I mean, the question is going to be in line with what I do. And this is a question that I think, I ask about every day. But really, it's, in your line of business, what ways do you think you can use advanced technology to improve your, processes, your automation of your processes, digitization of your processes? What kind of advanced technology, so I'm talking IoT, AI, blockchain, whatever, do you think can make an influence in your processes?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Victor Boyle Komolafe. It's been a very rich conversation, and it's been nice having you here. And we look forward to hearing big things, more achievements from Capture Solutions. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. All right.